lecture with Charles Adams, Creative Process. Charles Adams, Creative Process. Can you see this?
No.
I didn't do it.
I'll have to write fast to get it on here. It all starts with I. The first stage is called ingestion. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Yes.
Second stage is incubation. The third stage is inspiration. What am I worried about? I can't drink that. I would know right when I got to here, right? Okay. You ever heard that expression? You got a problem going on, oh, sleep on it for a while, you get a different perspective. That's kind of what this is about. All right, but more drawn out. All right, a doctor trying to cure you wants to find out your symptoms, right? Okay. A detective solving a case wants clues, right? Ogilvy said that if you want to create an advertising campaign, it's best to know what the client thinks, what the customer thinks, the mind of the buyer, consumer behavior, the door to stuff. Old campaigns, history of the company, competitors' campaigns, the industry, and anything else that's relevant. So stage one, ingestion, is saturate yourself with information. Saturate yourself with information. And aggressively try to solve the problem. Seldom will you go with your initial solutions or ideas that you come up with in stage one. And I would see this in that class, they never did their initial ideas for their advertising campaigns. They would never do that. They would, unless they did it the night before. And those projects were easy to spot. Okay. Stage two, incubation, you let the problem go and you let your subconscious deal with it. And when an idea floats to the surface, you write it down. You let your subconscious deal with it. When an idea comes to the surface, you write it down. When did, do you know how Einstein, not Alfred, but his brother Albert, discovered, you know how he discovered the theory of relativity? Came to him in a dream. And had he been studying this stuff for a long time, that his subconscious came up? Okay. I teach an undergraduate class called retailing. You didn't take it, did you?
No. I wish.
You took it? I don't remember that. When did you take it?
The fall 2022.
A year ago.
That was my last semester.
Was it online or was it in?
It was online.
Okay. Because in class it's different.
It's different.
Yeah, because I built a retailing taxonomy called the retailing mix. But when I first put that class together, I hadn't taught retailing, so I took the retailing functions. The retailing functions are to hold inventory, break bulk, provide service, and assortment development. So I was going to make a 4-tiered taxonomy and teach the class from that. These retailing functions. And then the retailing mix came to me in a dream. It's a mirror image of the regular taxonomy, but the store is the product. So it fits.
Oh, I get that.
Pretty close, but you got differences, okay? Like instead of product adjustment, it's merchandise management, the whole assortment in the store stuff.
It's superimposed.
So I didn't think of that, it came to me in a dream. But when I woke up, I wrote everything down because no, I don't keep a notepad by my bed to write down my dreams. That would be crazy. I don't do that. All right. Inspiration is where you collect all the things in the notes you took at incubation stage and you aggressively try to solve the problem. And you usually will have a different perspective than on the ingestion stage. Would you like to hear a real life example of what happened here at UTSA, a personal episode to apply this? And I purposely applied it. In 2000, we put in the doctoral program, 2000, 2001 or something like that. And what does a professor do?
Teach.
Three things. Think about your PhD. What does a professor do?
Mentors?
That would be counseling, which would be part of service, I guess.
Okay.
So service, I'm chair of the scholarship committee. I used to do freshman orientation, and I serve on other committees, blah, blah, blah. Okay. What else do we do? Two other big things. Service won't get you tenure.
Educate. Educate.
Teach, teaching, and research. The research is publishing articles, and that's really tough. Okay. I'm not good at that. And if I would have applied here after we started in 2000 with the doctoral program, they wouldn't even looked at me. But I came, it was a balanced school. It was 40% teaching, 40% research, about 20% service. Now, no matter what they say their percentage is, it's 90% research. Okay. What's tenure?
Experience.
Tenure means you can't be fired and you got 6 years to get it. So this concludes your 6-year interview. You're fired. You're given a terminal year, you leave. We only keep 50% of our assistant professors.
Jeez.
Or this concludes your 6-year interview. You're hired. You can't be fired unless you commit a crime, or if you fail post-tenure review every 6 years. Now, that's why some professors don't pay a lot of attention to you in the classroom, because they got the sort of Damocles hanging over their head, because they know that most of their tenure decisions based on research, so they're really stressed, especially if they got a mortgage and a new baby and stuff like that. And there's a 3rd-year review to see if you're making it, blah, blah, blah. So a tenure track position, or you've got adjunct faculty, they're called fixed term tracks, that don't have a research pressure, and all they do is teach, but of course they're not in the same positions as the tenure people. They don't have the same team tenure, blah, blah, blah. Got it? All right. So, if Patricia is finishing up her PhD and she goes on the market, what is a prospective school going to look for from her?
For those
Have
same
you
three
published
things.
anything? Do you have you started your pipeline of your stream of research? Let's see your student evaluations. Okay. We had 2 doctoral students in the early 2000s who were removed from class midterm. Is that a good thing? No. What happened was their classes mutinied and went to the dean's office. The dean said, we can't have this. You're out. You're in. And if you ever take over a class that's halfway started, that's stress, man. I had to do that before. We had a teacher quit after 9 days in the summer. Half of the people were just trying to skate by. When I came, they were really mad. And the other half were mad because they weren't doing anything in the first place and she quit. So it was a strange dynamic. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. All right. So we had 2 doctoral students that were removed, so they went on the market if they finished with no student evaluations and the scarlet letter on their forehead that they didn't finish a class, they were removed. That's bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the dean back then, this was 3 deans ago, she came up to me, it was 2006, 2005, and said, we can't have that again. I want you to put together a teaching class to keep this from happening. I want you to prepare these doctoral students for their first teaching experience. And I said, Sharknado 3, because when you have tenure, you have attitude, right? Remember, I went downtown for 12 years. And I said, Sharknado 3, if you pull that up, the movie poster will tell you. Oh, hell no. I go, that's not what I do. I said, not interested. so then she comes, that was at a college of business party. And then she comes up to me again a couple months later and she goes, have you given any thought to this teaching class I want you to do? And I go, no, I'm not doing it. Why would I think about it? I go, there's multiple ways to teach. I'm lecture dominant. You don't want a lecturer coming to their first year of teaching. It'll be blah, blah, blah. I don't know the other ways of teaching. I'm not really into that. Blah, 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 blah. So then she comes downtown to visit me. Oh, why would you drive 12 miles downtown to come see me? Was that a good day?
No.
It's like, hey, Gabby, HR wants to talk to you. Are you going to be nervous? Yeah. And bring your playbook. so she comes down, she goes, you don't understand, this is not a request. And that ruined my life. Now, I had done a lot of things on teaching. I was on the advisory council, the advisory board for the Teaching Learning Center. And by virtue, that's for faculty development. That was started in the 90s. And I went to a lot of workshops and stuff. So they sent me to national teaching conferences to bring speakers in to
Oh.
help faculty development. So I knew a little bit about it, but has anybody ever had good intentions on something? Like, I don't know, cardio?
Yep.
Okay, but you never got around to doing it?
Yep.
So at all these teaching conferences, workshops, I had a stack of articles like that on teaching, and I always would take them and think, I'll read these and be a better teacher. But Megumi, did I ever read them?
No.
Negative. So they were all dusty in my house, right? So then when I got this assignment, I had to read them. So it forced me to go through those things because I thought I only know one way to teach and I got to help these blah, blah, blah. So that was a big deal. So I bought time. I asked for a year to prep it. And so I surveyed all these doctoral programs in business across the country that had a teaching, and very few have a teaching class. So they're rare. And I found this guy at University of Tennessee. He was a really nice guy. And so I picked his brain a little bit. He gave me a syllabus and the books he used and stuff like that. And I modeled the class after that. So I outlined all his books, and then I did all those articles. And that was the ingestion phase, which isn't up there anymore.
Nope. But we got you.
Got it in your notes.
Yeah.
All right. And then, how many of you use Post-it notes for stuff? Okay.
Yep.
And if you get an idea, you stick one to the next, to the next, to the next, and you got a string of Post-it notes. You ever done that? Okay. I had Post-it notes, so I went to the phase 2, the incubation stage. I let it go, and I had Post-it notes in every house, every room in my house. I had them in my cars and in my truck. I had them in my girlfriend's apartment. I had them in my office. I had them everywhere. Okay. And every time I had an idea, I'd write like mad, write like mad, write like mad. I did that for 6 months. I just let everything kind of go to the surface. I still read some articles and stuff, but I wasn't aggressively solving the problem, put the class together. Then 3 months before the class started, I bought a card table that was rectangular. I put it in my living room. How many Post-it notes did I have after 6 months?
300?
5.
I had over 1,000.
Dang.
Now, were a lot of them redundant? Yeah. So I separated them. It took me 2 weeks to separate all the notes. And they separated themselves into 5 categories. Oh, my cats went nuts with all those. I had to cover them up with books at night because they'd be all over the place. All right. They separated themselves into 5 categories, and that's what I used for a taxonomy of teaching for that class for the past 20 years.
Oh, okay.
And that was when I aggressively started to solve the problems, when I organized it, put it together, and ta-da!
That was a lot of dreaming you had.
But that was a 1-year process of using that.
Of incubation.
Yeah.
But, okay. Formula advertising, we ready?
Yeah.